And welcome back. And some of you might have been aware that the MiG-15bis ISH is on sale again. It's the premium MiG-15 with the ugly ass pylons on the wings. And before you buy it, I want to indicate that it's a little bit worse. I will pull up a little table on the right here, which will include their acceleration to their top speed in seconds. So on the left you got the bis, which will reach 1000 kilometers an hour in about 90 seconds, whereas the ISH will take about 104 seconds. So, and you can tell that the faster they go, the bigger the discrepancy becomes. And that's because this thing is, well, a lot more draggy because of the massive pylons that you have under the wings. So really, if you keep this thing slow, it will be almost the same plane. The faster you go, the bigger the differences become, and this will not only be in terms of accelerations. I will also have on the right just the spacing between the speed increments, so you can kind of tell there is no magic number where the thing starts accelerating better, because there used to be a rumor, and I used to believe this myself as well, that the MiG-15bis ISH had a better engine at lower speeds to account for the drag. This is not the case. The engine is essentially the same, but the MiG-15bis ISH is heavier, so it will turn worse. It will also compress a little bit more at higher speed, so it will again turn worse, and it's more draggy. So the acceleration is worse. Not sure how much this will kind of hinders the turn rate, but definitely you fly this thing almost the exact same as you do the MiG-15bis. It is a little bit weaker, so it's a slight downgrade. And if you are flying the MiG-15bis in Russia, probably very little reason for you to pick this up. However, if you are an avid MiG-15bis German flyer, chances are you might want to pick this thing up if you have nothing in the Russian tech tree. I don't actually recommend it. 8.3 is a decent BR right now. Do keep in mind a lot of stuff is gonna move up and a lot of stuff is going to move down. So what the Matchmaker is going to do next patch, we do not know. Right now the SU7 as well as the Q5 late are both proposed to go to 9.0, which is ridiculous. But if they are going to do this kind of thing, don't be surprised if the other nations are also going to get planes like this. And if you're going to fight those planes 24/7 in a plane like this, you're just not going to have a good time. If you like the MiG-15, you're probably going to like this thing. That's just how it is. And there goes the frisbee. So should you buy it? It's up to you. If you already have the MiG-15bis in the Russian line, I would just say don't do it. If you want to grind something for the German line, or for the Russian line, sorry, and yeah, maybe. I mean, I liked it, but the MiG-15bis is just, it's a good plane in the right hands. It's not the easiest plane to fly either, so if you are not used to top tier, if you're not used to 8.3 or just MiGs in general, you're probably not gonna be doing very well in this thing. It's not a very easy to pick up plane anymore. It was for a very small amount of time when it was 8.3 and it didn't face Harriers and stuff every single match. Yeah, the plane is very good and has a lot of potential, but it will depend on your skill as a pilot as well as on your matchmaker and, well, your ability to aim these guns, because these guns are just extremely awkward to aim, at least in my experience, as long as I don't run 300 meter vertical targeting, and this is again also up to personal preference. I prefer it, you might not. Normally I run 600 non-vertical on every single plane, but the MiG-17, 15, Shenyang, F5, those planes I will all run 300 vertical targeting, and I don't know what it is, but it helps me tremendous amount with aiming. But going into the game, you should have an idea on how this thing flies, and if you are wondering how to fly the MiG-15bis in general, I got another 3 videos on it. I got a 5v1, I got a dogfight highlight kind of thing, and I got a full-blown tutorial on the regular MiG-15bis. So if you are looking for more MiG-15 content, I got plenty on my channel. Right now, the game is being very slow, and the way you fly this thing is very, very straightforward. If people can't run from you, they are basically going to die. Planes like the F-84, planes like the Saab 105s, the MBs, they're all food. And again, if you're looking for more of an up tier kind of playstyle, I got plenty of videos on those. This is more of a showcase. I wanted to show you an ace game, a long game. So this is basically the maximum reward. English is hard, my throat is kind of fucked, so I can't really say the R. The maximum rewards you're going to get. And here we are, a little bit of a 2v1, but it's a Saab 105 and an MB, so it shouldn't be much of a difficult situation. We're just gonna go up. And that's what you're going to be doing in this plane. put it into a spiral, and if any of these two guys try to follow me up, they are essentially just going to die. Use the flaps at higher speeds, be careful not to rip them off. They are not really your lifeline, but they are insanely important. The flaps help you a tremendous amount in terms of your dogfight capability. When you put them on takeoff, landing, and they actually extend all the way out, and you have the ability to kind of hover at your sweet spot that is like 400 to 500 kilometers an hour, or even slower, you will win a 1v1 versus essentially every plane in the game. There's not another MiG. Of course, 163s, Key 200s, those kind of planes you are going to struggle with in a 1v1, but you can just run them out of fuel. It's a very boring mechanic, I know. They are probably going to go back to their airfield, and why the B0 is going to go to 9.0, I have no idea. I have no idea. Right now I'm just kind of extending away, climbing away. I'm just trying to see if I can set up here. The Canberra is actually a pretty dangerous plane if he catches you off guard. The turn rate of that plane is very, very good. Of course, 1v1 you can easily kill it. The thing is, when there's other people around, you're gonna need a lot of energy and distance to kill the Canberra, and it kind of makes so you set yourself up to be killed by someone else. And there's two other guys in the area, so I didn't want to do that. Right now, going head on with the MD. Shoot a few rounds, break off, don't actually hit the mark, and we are going to go vertical here and see if the S or the Saab 105 is going to try to turn around. Looks like he isn't, so I will be able to commit in this fight here, making sure that Canberra doesn't go for me. He looks to be going for J Black, so we are going to be completely in the clear. Going to be diving on the Uragan. He is not going to be doing a lot. I get a crit, lost tail control, and he's going to go straight into the ground. And there you go. Little bit of a turn here. Very low on fuel because of the min fuel loadout. And just a little bit of a heads up, I added this in later, so I was actually going to cut out the takeoff. So I'm sorry for that, but I kind of forgot about it. Keep in mind that if you are buying this thing for ground RB, the S21s are mounted in a very awkward spot. And if you take it out for a test drive, mount the S21s, or the bombs and stuff like that, you can see it, and the rockets are kind of aimed downwards, and this makes for a little bit of a meme if you use the S21s in Araby, because you can kind of pitch up over someone and then launch them directly down at them with the airburst on, and you will probably completely nuke the guy. And the thing is, it's very awkward to aim because of the inertia that is horizontally on the missile as well. So try it out. Check it out, see if you can actually use it, see if you actually like that kind of stuff, because even if you use a thing for ground RB or ground pounding in general, you really need to be aware of how those missiles are mounted. So as a summary, it has weird aiming for the rockets, it is slightly worse than a MiG-15bis, and it's very, very expensive, and you're probably going to get your ass handed to you if you are not used to jets in this thing. But it's up to you, it's up for you to make the decision. And I'm just giving you the information that you might need for that. So we're back with a full half bag of fuel. And we have a J29 here, of which I don't know which variant it is. So J Black engages him, kind of breaks him off. And then I can just kind of sit here and look for the other guy. Because right now I'm being kind of passive, and that's because I want to know where the Saab 105 is. I don't want to get missiled, I don't want to get sprayed down by 30 mils. I want to be sure that I'm clear here to go in. I'm not going to be throwing the game this late in. J Black can probably handle it on its own. And it turns out to be just an SK60. Gonna be looking here what kind of player it is.
The enemy is attacking our base.
Pretty low level, so I'm gonna just assume that he's gonna dive on someone here. Most likely the guy that's closest and not the guy that's actually in the better position, which would be me right now. It's better to go for me right here, because if he goes for J Black, what's going to end up happening is, well, I will be going right for him. Little bit of a mistake on his target prioritization. Not much of a problem, however, for us, because we can just slot in on his 6 here. Because he is simply not paying attention. And this is why you do not go for the guy that's flying in front. Shoot my 37s, shoot a lot of rounds, get a crit in. Not gonna stick. Want to make sure that that J29 doesn't recommit. And the reason I took a game that's a little bit easier, that's not very skill intensive, is so that you can get an understanding of how to fly this thing. Should you buy this thing? Because if you're looking to buy this thing, there's a very big chance you are not very used to jets. And if you are not used to jets, as I said it before, you're going to not have that good of a time in this thing. It's not a very easy plane. You are going to get caught off. In a defensive posture, it can be very strong, but you have to play your cards right. And if you don't know how these planes behave, you are most likely going to struggle. The MiG-15 on min fuel is a little bit of a rat plane, and it is just insanely maneuverable, especially at low speeds, so you can just park yourself on someone hose them down, but the chances are that you are going to die to someone else. If you get someone on your 6 like an F2 Sabre or an F25, chances are that he's just going to spray at you, he's going to roll around, and because of your lack of roll rate, it's very hard to go defensively unless you kind of know how to use your turn rate versus his roll rate, because he will be able to get his guns on very easily, and you can get out of those guns pretty reliably, but you do have to know how to do that. And again, I got videos for that. And again, Saab 105 diving in, he's not much of a threat, as we all know. He breaks off, he's gonna go for J Black, notices that I'm pulling back into him, so I shoot at him. J29 goes down, and now at this point the Saab 105 is just gonna have me glued on his ass, and he's not gonna go anywhere. Get a crit in, shoot his wingtip off. He tries to flap, doesn't really work, and into the ground he goes. And the last guy is gonna be a bomber in space, and I'm gonna use that time to ramble a little bit on people buying top tier premiums. And I'm not gonna be saying that it's a bad thing, that Gaijin is dumb for doing it. But you do have to keep in mind that if you are not a very seasoned player, if you're not very good at the game, and you're gonna buy yourself into a tier where it's a lot more important to know yours and the enemy planes. If you're not used to top tier or jets in general, and you buy yourself into it, what's going to end up happening is you are going to get a lot of RP. Don't get me wrong, even if you do basically nothing, you get one kill in the head-on, you kill a few AI, you kill a few ground units, you are going to get a significant amount of RP, especially at lower tier research. Because I get it. Researching like tier 1 is an absolute pain in the ass. But you don't need a jet to research those kind of planes. If you look at planes like for Russia, for example, you got a lot of stuff. You got the Su-11, which is very, very good. It might be up tier a lot next Matchmaker, so we don't know that yet. You got planes like the LA7, the premium one that come out here and there. You got planes like the Yak-9M, the P-39N, and those kind of planes do go on sale quite often. Just like the ITP that's on sale, or not on sale, that's on the market. Or the P63A5, these are not the best kind of planes, but they are a lot cheaper and they will teach you a lot more in terms of gameplay. And you won't get clubbed as hard, because you won't be fighting as seasoned of a player, and it still gets the resource bonus for the lower tiers. And then at higher tiers like tier 4, tier 5, you can start using, what's it called? Talismans and stuff, if you still want to. And if you're burned out by the game by then, well, guess what? You didn't spend nearly as much money. And you will still get your resource down. I'm out of ammo now. I just got a measly crit on him. We are going to win on tickets. Very annoying anyway. And we win because the timer runs out. And I will show you the little rewards, because that's probably why you want to buy this thing, or why you maybe not want to buy this thing. There you go. Pretty decent. 40k, 100,000 Silver Lions. Hope you enjoyed that one. And see you all in the next one.